Hello, like most people during 2020, I picked up a hobby. What I didn't know at the time is that I was going to get really into keyboards and to start collecting keyboards, and I acquired quite a few, and some of these were given to me by brands, in which I'll mark these in the video as they pop up. Some of them I bought, some of them I got from friends. If you've ever seen any sort of mechanical keyboard content, you'll know that there's kind of a range of things that you can do with mechanical keyboards. You can build your own, you can change the keycaps, you can make keycaps. I mainly focused on decorating keyboards, kind of changing the keycaps. I did do some learning about switches and how to replace switches and things like that. Most of the time I was just trying to make my keyboard look pretty. Today I thought I would give an overall ranking of all of the keyboards that I own, mainly because I have quite a few and I kind of want to see all of them in a nice list. So things I'll be taking into consideration are things like the aesthetics of the keyboard, how big the keyboard is, and what it sounds like. This is the Akko 3061S Tokyo R2, and this one has Gateron yellows. Now in general, this was a pretty good budget keyboard. It wasn't really too expensive. It's small, it's compact. I do like the size of it. I do kind of lean towards the smaller keyboards, although I do think TKL 80% is probably my favorite size for a keyboard. One thing that does bother me about this keyboard in the general aesthetics is there is a tiny screw that you can see straight into the keyboard, and you can just see it and it's always there, and it's something that has always bothered me. In terms of sound, this does have Gateron yellows in it, which honestly, I don't mind the Gateron yellows. They're fine, kind of nicer than cherry reds, not really nicer than a custom switch. Overall, I would give the little Akko keyboard maybe a B. It's nothing special, but it's nothing bad either. So the next one I have to show you is definitely like a crowd fan favorite. This is my custom Asus keyboard. Now this one's like a fully custom keyboard. So as you can see, it's made out of stacked acrylic. It has this wonderful laser etched design of Asus. If you're a fan of Evangelion, you'll know what I'm talking about. I do have the matching Evangelion keycaps, which I do have on quite a few of my keyboards, which you'll see. I'm a fan, obviously. General aesthetics though, this one is stunning and I love it. I must say I like it too much, kind of almost to use. This is kind of like the prized possession keyboard. In terms of the switches, this one I'm pretty sure has Gateron blacks in it. I think this one has to be an S tier. It's truly special. So for a bit of a change of pace, this is my Corsair K70 RGB Pro. This is like a full size keyboard. You got the numpad and everything, so it's quite big. I do like the white keycaps. I do like the metal frame. When you have the RGB on, it's quite visually pretty. The reflections and everything is really nice. It is a basic keyboard though, pre-built. Nothing fancy. Sound, I'm pretty sure we have the silver switches in this, like the Corsair silver switches. They're loud, good for gaming, but they don't really sound great. I don't have a whole lot to say about this. I don't mind it. Probably C tier. So the next one on the list is actually the first keyboard I ever kind of modded or did any changes to. This is the Asus ROG Strix Scope TKL. So obviously 80% TKL, yet again a fan favorite of mine. But this kind of started my love of the hobby. So it does really have a special spot in my heart. Obviously you can see I couldn't even get all of the keycaps to fit because this is a special size keyboard and the matching keycaps didn't fit, but I was just so excited to realize that I could change my keyboard to be something cooler and different than just the standard gaming keyboard. It does have cherry red switches. Relatively loud, not as scratchy sounding as the silver switches, but it's still pretty loud. Oh, where do I put this? I think I'd put this, it's like a B+, because again, it's a generic gaming keyboard. I've kind of just put it in a new outfit, but it does hold a dear spot to my heart. Now we have the Varmilo Sakura TKL. Now this is a keyboard that one of my friends gifted me. It obviously didn't have the Evangelion keycaps. I'm a fan, don't judge me, there's more of them. It's a cute keyboard, it's nice. I really love the aesthetics of it, the pink background as well of the board. It's lovely. When I first got this keyboard, even now, I can't really use this keyboard because the spacebar gets stuck and it's kind of functionally not really great. We got some more cherry reds in here, so again, nothing really special about what this sounds like. Size as well, it's another 80%, so it's one of my faves. Aesthetic, it's pretty, but I feel like this does lose some points for just not really being functional as an actual keyboard. So I'm gonna put this in C. This is the Corsair K65 RGB Mini. It's a nice little keyboard. I will say the build quality of this is a little nicer than the Akko. Yet again, I've got some Evangelion keycaps. I know, what a surprise at this point. If you like compact keyboards though, you will like this one. However, this does have the silver switches in it. So it's good for gaming, but not really that good if you wanted to listen to your keyboard and have it be ASMR and aesthetic. Now, unlike the Akko one, which I don't think I mentioned, this one doesn't have hot swappable switches, so this would probably also land in C tier. I was thinking, it's a better build quality than the Akko, but actually now I think about it, you can't remove the switches in this, so it's gotta be C tier. I'm sorry. Now we have what's probably the biggest keyboard in my collection. This is the Razer Black Widow version 3, I think Halo edition. Now, don't get me wrong, I was a huge Halo fan, especially as a kid, so there's kind of a nostalgia aspect of this for me, at least personally, but there's quite a few things that I don't like about this keyboard. First of all, you can't remove this cable, which just is kind of a headache. Most keyboards nowadays will have a removable cable on the back, and this not being removable just makes it kind of a pain. Secondly, I kind of wish that the keycaps matched the keyboard. I know we have the special escape key, but you know, yeah, it's also a really big keyboard. And on top of that, it has the Razer green switches, which these are probably some of the loudest switches that I've ever had to listen to. And just you wait. Like, you want your neighbor to hear that you're typing? Razer green, they've got you. I think this is probably the only keyboard I'm gonna put in D tier. It does get a few points for the aesthetic. It's Halo themed, but I think it fails on just about every other point aside from that. I'm sorry. Now, if you know me, this is probably the keyboard that you've been waiting for me to show. So this is the keyboard that I'm currently using, the one that I use in my day-to-day existence, streaming, gaming, etc. This is the Gamakay K87. This is my pride and joy. If you've seen any of the videos I've made in the past, you've probably seen this keyboard before. The Gamakay is a super customizable keyboard. It lets you pull it apart, you can take all the switches out, everything. It's great. I'm a big fan. Currently, I have C3 Fierce Girl switches in this, which are currently my, all-time favorite. They're lubed and filmed and they sound great. I do have some Band-Aid mods under here as well. This is my other S tier. This is my top tier, daily use, favorite keyboard of all time. And for a final mention, special edition, I have my Mophie numpad keyboard. Now, most people would say, hey, that's not a keyboard. And yes, I get it, I understand. But this is kind of like the hero of this channel. If you've seen my channel, if you subscribed, this is probably why you clicked on here, because that short now has 20 something million views. You can't change the keycaps on this as far as I'm aware. They're like a special shape. It sounds kind of clunky. It does do its job as a wireless numpad. It's cute. It's also the first YouTube short I ever made, was unboxing this. And I feel like this will have to be in its own little SSSSS tier, just because it deserves its own special mention. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Here is the final list. Overall, all of these keyboards are really good keyboards. If you have one of these, if you don't have one of these, I'm sure your own keyboard is fine. And I wouldn't necessarily say, hey, yeah, dive into the custom keyboard hobby. Once you've kind of acquired one really nice keyboard, you don't really need a whole bunch. I'm quite lucky. I'm a content creator. I'm a Twitch streamer. I've acquired quite a few of these over time. But I wouldn't say, hey, you need to go buy 8 keyboards, or you're not a keyboard fanatic. Just get one. Get one that you really like and stick with it. Go with something you can change the keys on, you can change the switches on, and you'll have a great time. But thank you so much for watching today. Don't forget to check out my Twitch stream. Feel free to comment your own personal favorite keyboard if that's something that you would like. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. It's like a pocket-sized keyboard. It's kind of nice, isn't it? Literally I could probably, can I fit, wait, it's a sleeved size keyboard. What am I doing in my life, man?